It's Sunday night. It's 8 o'clock. Welcome to All Lacrosse Live. I'm Gary Groob in Toronto. With me, as always, I have Shawn Slaght over Moose Jaw. Shawn, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Thanks, Gary.
Excellent. I have Muffler Mike over in Connecticut. Mike, how you doing?
I'm good.
We got a great show for you all tonight. We have a special guest. Ryan McMichael is going to come join us. You know McMichael from, of course, Loose Mesh Pod, as well as coaching with Oshawa, coaching in WLA, former player. So he's got a lot of insight. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the nonsense going on in minor lacrosse, of course, as always. And we're going to dig a little bit deeper into some of that. ALL had a champion granted this weekend, and we have all the details on that, as well as we had 6 games in the NLL as well, and we're going to get you through all of that. But just before we get going, just a reminder to everybody that all of our shows are streamed live across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and also Twitch, as well as Spotify the next morning. Remember, hit the subscribe, follow, and like buttons, and always share. Please enjoy all the affiliates across the Stream Punk Entertainment Network. If you missed a show, no worries. You can grab all the shows on YouTube, whether it be at Stream Punk Cinema, Stream Punk Combat, Stream Punk Sports, or, of course, All Lacrosse all the time. If you come to All Lacrosse all the time, A, please tell everybody about us. B, please subscribe. And C, please enjoy all the stuff that's out there, which includes retro games, interviews, our library of shows, as well as fights and press conferences and a whole lot more. More coming all the time. Remember, you can stay up to date with all sports by visiting streampunkentertainment.com with articles from our huge staff of contributors. Also, a reminder that the show is brought to you by 60. 60 is Canada's newest and most exciting sports uniform and teamwear brand, delivering top quality uniforms and teamwear that reflects the spirit and identity of each team. Their commitment to innovation and excellence sets them apart, ensuring that every customer experiences the perfect blend of style and functionality. Unleash your greatness with 60. Remember, add Lax Talk 10 to every one of your orders to get an extra 10% discount on your order. How do you get to them? First of all, you got the QR code right in the center of your screen, or you can go to Instagram at sweet_60, or you can go to email them at info.sweet60@gmail.com, or go to www.sweet60.ca/60 for their website. And Jim will take care of you with some quality service. All right. First off, Eduardo's with us. Eduardo, good to see you back in St. Augustine. Catching a tan, I'm sure. All righty. I want to bring on our guest right away because I'm excited about this. Ryan and I go back quite a ways, and you've seen him a lot on Loose Mesh Pod. Him and Dawson have done an amazing job giving all the insights in and out of lacrosse, whether it be professional, minor, and everything in between, as well as being our insider. He'll be with you in a minute, though. He's also been a coach for the up in the WLA, as well as with the ALL and with the Oshawa Outlaws. Without further ado, let me bring on Ryan McMichael. Ryan, how you doing, brother?
What is going on? It's finally back. It's nice to be here. It's nice to be on the other side of this instead of just the keyboard and firing in my 19 cents that I give you every week, man.
Absolutely. Instead of giving us just one line at a time, I get the whole.
Yeah, I got a lot for you today. So let's get shooting here. We got it.
All
we
right.
got the guns are loaded. We're at the hip. Everything's good.
All right. I want to start out with minor lacrosse and some of the dumbness and stupidity that's going on here, because in one hand we're trying to talk about let's grow the game. That's what all the hashtags are, and that's what all the sayings are, and then we do exactly the opposite. If we could get out of our own damn way, we might actually grow this game to be something as big as hockey, but we can't seem to get out of our own way. Let's talk about a few things about this. Number one, I want to talk about the zone nonsense and how players can't play if they don't have the right amount of numbers, and they have to wait until other zones have numbers before they can even get a chance to maybe get a tryout or a fictitious tryout, since how do you know what's in your pool? Talk to me a bit about
So
that.
my favorite thing about this is the second time that they've moved the goalpost. Right. So like, again, like I don't know about we all, but I certainly grew up in the game of lacrosse, and I was lucky enough to play in one of the best centers in the world. And I played in Whitby, Ontario. And back in the day, if you lived in the Durham region, you played for Whitby, and that was it. And yes, I get it. We want to grow and we want to expand. So we've always had a rule that if you don't have a team, you go to the next closest center. Right? Like everybody here, we can all nod our head. That's common sense, correct?
Yep.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. So now, because of these, in air quotes, super teams that have been formed, which again, I find the terminology of it being a super team is absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
If I want my son to go and play for Kevin Haynes over in Halton Hills, like a few of the Brampton people did last summer, and I'm willing to take money out of my pocket and time out of my day, who is somebody else to tell me that I can't do that for the betterment of my child? To me, that makes zero sense. Okay, right. So they want to alleviate the super team things. That's fine. So then they make this rule, and we're talking within the last 2 months. And I believe the date on the Ontario Lacrosse Association document is the 22nd of February.
Okay.
That if you fold your team due to low numbers, only 2 people from each center can go to the next closest one, and then you have to move on and so forth, right? So for my personal example, we're in Northumberland. So 2 kids would go to Clarington, 2 kids would go to Peterborough, 2 kids would go to Whitby, 2 kids would go to Oshawa. We had no problems with that. Right. We're like, okay, fine. If you guys want to alleviate the super team nonsense, then this is a great way to do it, and all the power to you. So we were fully willing to abide by those rules. Well, now we're going to move the goalpost one more time. So this is 3 times we've moved the goalpost in the last 3 minutes here.
Yeah.
We're just going to freeze this one team, and we are not going to allow them to go anywhere. You can't go and try out in Clarington. You can't go. Peterborough tryouts are already done. Right. Whitby tryouts are already done. Oshawa had made an extra tryout just with hopes of maybe this situation would get resolved, and clearly it has not. And we kind of decided we were going to put this out on the Loose Mesh socials, and our social media team did a fantastic job of it. Like I would like to. I'm not going to sue who our team is, because there's a lot of backlash right now. But I feel like we've raised some eyes to the hypocrisy that goes on. One of my biggest concerns is the verbiage of this, Gary, and the verbiage says they don't. And now again, give me a couple words here and a couple words there. I'm not trying to be verbatim by any means. Right. They don't want to displace local talent for players outside of their jurisdictions. Right. Well, my U15 team lost to a St. Catharines team last year that had 5 Americans on it. Yeah. The U17 team in St. Catharines had another 5 Americans on it. The U13 team, and again, like there's other centers that are going on, but I'm just using this one as an example. The U13 team, 11 and 12-year-old kids we're talking about right now, had American players on their team, and they displaced local St. Catharines talent. So why is this an issue all of a sudden? Is it because Ryan McMichael was the coach of this U17 team? Is it because we're really, and now again, like I've had conversations with people that I know inside the OLA, and the only thing I can hear is that they're worried about summer games. Well, who exactly are we worried about not winning the summer games? Because it's not you're concerned that Clarington's not winning the summer games. You're not concerned about Whitby winning the summer games. Who are we really concerned about right now? And these are the questions that a lot of people in my board of directors with Northumberland, and I say mine, I'm not the president by any means. I'm just a talking head. But a lot of people within the board of Northumberland have been asking these questions. And again, if you want to scroll through the comments on the Loose Mesh podcast website, Instagram page, you can see that there's a lot of people that are very displeased with the way that the OLA is handling things. And people just don't feel the need to respond back to emails or give people answers. And it's got to be time to where like enough's enough. Like this is absolutely ridiculous that we're doing this to 13, 14, 15-year-old kids.
Right. But the Oilers had a history of being one that holds grudges as soon as you put their backs against the wall. And they carry that quite deep. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to deal with that, which is why we're in the position we're in, is that we don't have an organized group to go and actually chop the tree down, because it's factions and it's behind the scenes. Not everybody is as outspoken as you are about this.
Well, and again, like I take the outspokenness as a compliment, right?
Absolutely.
And you know, like there's again, there's going to be haters everywhere in the world, and obviously you guys see that with some of my interactions with another podcast or another daily show that seems to want to bring my name up into things, and now you're seeing it in this. And it's, if you want to come at Ryan McMichael, that's fine. Like I'm a 42-year-old grown up. Like I have no problems going into debates with people. I have no problems getting into confrontations with people. That's pretty much what my whole persona is. Mm-hmm. Right. But the fact that, you know, we're using an avenue with children who are, and like, let's not make any bones about it here. My 14-man roster last year, that was the second best team in field lacrosse and box lacrosse in the province, that had by far the best record per game in the province,
right,
had 5 kids who made Team Ontario. Out of a 14-man roster, we had 5 kids that made Team Ontario. And that Team Ontario ended up going on to win the Nationals. Right. So these 5 kids are what you would consider some of the best in the country, right? Yeah,
they're studs.
So and these specific kids are the ones that you're putting on a freeze. These kids who paid thousands and thousands of dollars to play for Team Ontario and go and win you a national title. These parents who have spent tens of thousands of dollars for them to play for the Ontario Lacrosse Association, yep, and for them to represent their province within a national event. These are the kids that you're punishing. You're not punishing me. I'm not losing out on anything. I'm losing out on coaching these kids, but I'm going to do that anyways. Right. If they think that they don't let us play, and we're not still going to practice 3 times a week, and we're not still going to go and play games, whether or not it has to be in Michigan or Rochester or Buffalo, or I don't know what you guys are thinking, and it's mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling on the way that they're portraying this and trying to go about this. Like I said in my previous rant, you've changed the goalpost 3 times. Right. And the other 2 times we were perfectly, like, were we perfectly fine with your ruling? Of course not. But were we willing to accept it? 100% yes. You guys didn't hear a peep from us until you decided to freeze our roster. And then now you've drawn the line. Like, this is crazy.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk a bit about the sanctions that happened, because we've had problems with this before. With CLL have had these problems that the provinces will stick down sanctions on the players that they won't be able to play for 2 years, and some of the other nonsense that go on about that. We've had the thing now with the Rebeski just coming up, and kids not allowed to play there because of OLA sanctions and worrying about whether they're going to be able to play here. Let's talk a bit about that and the fear mongering that goes on there. And can they talk about things that are nothing to do with their jurisdiction?
Well, once again, like I had a very in-depth conversation with the head of the Canadian Lacrosse Association yesterday. And, you know, luckily for me, I consider him a good friend and a confidant. So he was one of the driving forces behind them not being allowed to sanction kids on going to play for, you know, as we just seen Todd Wilfong's comment, going to play for Todd Wilfong with the CLL, or going to go play for a guy like Tracy Koleski or Reed Acton and Riley O'Connor at Evolve and Beast, right? Like that to me is just one of the most asinine things that I feel like I've ever, besides this one now, like that one was the first one, and obviously we've seen how far that went. right? I can speak personally that we still played competitive outside lacrosse that same winter or that same summer. You can't tell me on my own time where I can and cannot take my child, right? And then number two, like, what does anybody in this room here under or know which American university is offering box lacrosse scholarships? Anybody?
No.
Bueller.
No.
Nothing, right? Like, so why are we? Tracy Koleski offers a program for a child to go down and play field lacrosse and gain a scholarship. Reed Acton, Riley O'Connor, Adam Gardner, the Haig brothers, all of these people who do their coaching and their own time to help kids get scholarships. These are the ones that we're going to try and punish. People who are actually helping you to get a better, and this isn't about lacrosse anymore. Right. I tell my ex-girlfriend's son, who is one of my best friends, you got to meet him yesterday. Yeah. Every single time, lacrosse is an avenue to get an education. I wish I had somebody in my life when I was 14 and 15 years old that taught me that lacrosse is an avenue to get an education. I love your jersey in the background, Gary. Not everybody's John Grant Jr. I love your jersey in the background, Shawn. Not everybody's Caleb Toth. We're not all going to make a good, handsome amount of money within the game of lacrosse, and you have to know that going into it. So for you to get further ahead in life, we need to use this avenue and be able to capitalize on the opportunities that somebody's going to give me. The coach from Virginia isn't going to call me and offer me a box lacrosse scholarship. The coach from Manhattan, the coach from wherever, Tuck University, is not going to give me a box lacrosse scholarship. So I have to go and play field lacrosse somewhere. I'm in the 40-something years that I've been involved in the Ontario Lacrosse Association, I've never seen one scout at an OMFLL event. I've seen them at the Rockstars events. I've seen them at the All Canada Games. I've never seen them at an OMFL event. So why are you hindering my ability for my child to go and get a better education?
Right. And Todd brings up a big point here as well. No other programs, teams, clubs, anything have been suspended except for CLL players and coaches.
I would like to double down on that, and he knows how much respect I have for him, so he's not going to get mad at me for saying this. I don't think anybody but Todd has been suspended for doing this. Wow. Honest to God, like Fonger, if I'm wrong, shoot me a message and tell me I'm wrong. But like, just everybody knows. Like, I don't. You might not know the guy's not really that good anymore. But Christian Del Bianco, you guys ever heard of him?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Just kind of, yeah.
He wore the CLL jersey. Did anybody suspend him? How about the goaltender who started for the Philadelphia Wings on Friday night? What was his name again? Deacon Knott, right?
Yeah.
You guys, we've heard of him, correct?
Yeah.
He won a gold medal.
Yep.
100% positive that he played on this team and wore that jersey. And Fonger, thank you for clearing that up. I appreciate the fact that another player and one other coach has been suspended. But I think we're going on year 6 of Fonger's 1-year suspension.
Right.
Yeah. So again, like, it's just the hypocrisy it's absolutely phenomenal. Before we get into anything more here, I want to thank you for giving me an avenue to express my frustration. I really sincerely and truly from the bottom of my heart want to thank everybody who's jumped in the comments on Instagram, who's jumped in the comments on Twitter. I couldn't keep up with my phone in the last 2 days. My DMs are going absolutely bananas. There's so many people who, as you say, Gary, are afraid to speak out and who are very thankful for my lack of giving a you-know-what, because I know you don't like swearing on this show. My lack of you-know-what for not caring about this, because, again, as I said, like, I'm committed now. Like, you guys see what I've been doing. You guys see what I've been saying. I'm committed to this, and not only is somebody who I deeply and truly care about on this team, every single one of these kids deserves the best. And if you've ever played the game of lacrosse for me, you understand you understand how hard I am and how much I love this game and how much I demand from a player if you're going to play for me. And I didn't hear one thing besides yes, Frick, no, Frick, okay, Frick, not a problem, Frick. I didn't hear nothing from any parent besides one for the whole year. We were 4 days a week, an hour and a half every single day. It was absolutely bananas how hard I pushed this small center in Northumberland to be the best. And all they did was respond and reply. And every single time we would be down in every single game. And I don't mean by the scoreboard wise, I mean by the player wise. Right. Every game was 7-on-5.
Right.
And we
here's
dropped
with a big comment as well, going through the paperwork to remember to get back to growing the game.
Well, and they're going to hide behind the fact that they're growing the game at the lower levels. We're growing the game at the C and the D levels. And well, why do you think you're anything special? Well, I think I'm something special because my team was the second best team in the province last year. And I think I'm something special because we had 5 kids who made Team Ontario. And you're going to tell, like, one of the solutions was we go in and we join the center in Quinte. The Quinte U15 team, I think, was and I'm not chirping them by any means. This is just facts. The Quinte U15 team, I think, was a C center last year. So you're going to take the best statistically, the second best U15 team in the province last year, and you're going to put them in the C division. Number one, we're going to beat teams by 30.
Right.
Okay. Number 2, I coach old school, up and down, mother effer lacrosse. If I can't run around you, I'm going to run through you.
Right.
If I can't get the ball off of you, I'm going to put you on the ground. Wayne Colley type stuff. Right. How is that going to go over against Kingston? How is that going to go over against a Tyne-Adaga or an Oshawa 2? Because I'm telling you right now, and I've seen it with my own eyes, people get hurt. When people are at a lower level than that would be like taking the number 1 junior C lacrosse player in the province and putting him on the number 1 junior A lacrosse team in the province.
Now, Doug is out of Philadelphia, right? So he probably doesn't understand the Ontario or the Canadian minor lacrosse thing with his question. But if you can just elaborate a bit, you're not punishing success. What you're trying to do is give a fair crack for everybody to keep playing.
And that's all I want. I want them to allow my team, the kids that I care deeply about, the ability to go and play the best lacrosse that they can play because they've earned it. They've earned it. And we have it's not fair to the kids who got displaced crowd out there. And you know what? I apologize if your son or your daughter or whatever is one of these people being displaced. And I got into my own comments today about this. And all I want to know, Shawn, what do you do for career, like for a line of work? What do you do?
I'm a journalist, actually.
You're a journalist, so
Yep.
you write and you do things like that, okay?
Yep.
If your company is looking at hiring a journalist, and that journalist, let's just say, has more journalist awards than you, and is more highly recommended or highly acclaimed than you are, do you get to keep your job because you've been there longer, or do they take the best possible person for the position?
Well, they're going to take the best candidate, yeah.
Right? Like so when we have these mothers or fathers, but if you read the comments, they're mothers, that are in the my son is going to be displaced because of this other kid from Clarington role or this other kid from Northumberland role. What are we teaching your child right now? Like, you don't have to work hard for something just because you've been there longer, you get this role. I know in my line of work it's cutthroat. If I'm not producing at my highest level, they're going to go and find somebody else to do it.
Right.
Like,
isn't that why we have tryouts?
That's why we have tryouts.
Yeah.
Isn't that why we have off-season training? Isn't that why we have private lessons? Isn't that why we have a stick in our hand and a ball in a wall in our vicinity at every chance that we can get? Because I promise you, I know that these 8 Northumberland players have been doing that. So why are they getting punished for mastering their craft? Like, in the real world, if you are the best at something, you get praised for it. You don't get held back for it. And like, this is, it's again, like, the word of the day is I can't get over the hypocrisy of this. Like one of my favorite coaches that I've ever played for in my life was Pete Tellis. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Pete Tellis or not. Okay. Pete Tellis taught me this, and I wish I had known Pete when I was 14 and 15 years old, but he taught me this at 25 and 26, and I have this on t-shirts. This is how much I live by this saying. Sports skills are life skills. Life skills are sports. Life skills are sports skills. So if I walk into a team and I'm like, I've been here for the last 5 years, I know I'm on this team. That's called entitlement. That is not called a work ethic. That is called entitlement. So we're teaching our younger generation now that you just have to be there long enough. You don't have to work hard for it. You don't have to go out there and take it because you want it. You just have to be there long enough. And you just have to, just feel entitled enough and have your parent complain enough, and everything will be okay. That's not how life works. Life is unfair.
Absolutely. Only the best deserved a spot is correct. That's exactly what we're getting.
Yeah.
You train harder. You make sure you get on it. That's how teams become better. That's how dynasties form. Because everybody is at their peak and everybody is at their best. Nobody is complacent. Nobody is just sitting there going, well, because there's house league for that. There's house league.
Right? And
everybody goes and
we're talking rep sports here. And we're not talking rep. And again, I really need to be careful here. At a U11, a U9, a U13 age group, U15, we're pushing it. But U17, this should be the best of the best. You should want your Ontario Summer Games to be the best of the best lacrosse players. But we're worried about blowouts. Well, I'm sorry, but my team in Whitby blew out the St. Catharines / Spartan team. In my first year of U17, we called it midget at the time. I know it's politically incorrect, but we called it midget at the time, U17. Okay? That team had Craig Kahn, Matt Vince, Kyle Neufeld, Sean Grenhall, Mark Steinhaus, Billy D. Smith, Ian Lord. So just because I show up with the best team doesn't mean that I'm going to win. It's a team. This is a team game. And we're worried about, certain centers not performing well. Again, let me stress this. Again, at the provincial final level. You shouldn't punish the other centers because your center isn't performing well. I apologize. It's one of those, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry kind of things.
Well, when we're talking about U17, our next step is Junior A, and really want everything washed down. We want watered down product then.
And here's another thing. I'm so glad that you brought that up, because do we all understand how the Junior A draft works, or do you want me to get into a little bit of explanation behind that?
Please.
Okay, so for each Ontario center, let's say Whitby, for example, right? The Whitby kids don't go into the Junior A draft because Whitby has a Junior A center. Peterborough, Brampton, yada, yada, yada. If you have a Junior A center, you don't go into the Junior A draft. If you are in a Junior B center, Clarington, Halton Hills, Barrie, Akwesasne, places like that, then one kid from your center can be drafted, and then the rest go to the Junior B team. Well, my center is in neither of those. So that means every single one of these kids can get drafted. Right. So now we're holding back half of the, and this is a very arrogant thing to say, and I'm very confident in saying it. We are going to hold back half of the first round of the 2028 Junior A lacrosse draft to go and play, because where are they going to go and play? Yeah. So this is half of the first round of the 2028 draft. Why do these kids want to go and play in your Junior A league? Obviously we're all going to, and we all want to, and that's your dream. But what incentive are you giving them? Furthermore, how are you making your Junior A league better by making these kids go and play at a B or a C level right now? Because how many of them are going to quit after this? Because this isn't going to be fun for any of them. So how many are going to quit? So now let's say out of the 8, I have 4 that quit. So there goes 4 draft picks into your Junior A draft. And then how many parents
too is the travel that goes involved, because they're not next door to each other now. Now when you're out of your area, you have humongous travel that go on there. And how much fun is that for kids?
Right. So instead of driving the 25 minutes from Coburg to Clarington, you're going to make them drive 65 minutes to get to Belleville? Or instead of driving the 35 minutes for these kids to go up the Highway 28 to Peterborough, you're going to make them drive 65 minutes to get to Belleville? For for what? Like, what is the end goal here? What are we trying to accomplish? Are we trying to make Belleville lacrosse better? We'll sink a little bit of your OLA money into it and send the director of skill development, Cam Milligan, to Belleville and let him work in Belleville for the year. You want to give, you as the Ontario Lacrosse Association would like to make lacrosse better, and I really hope that you do. Like, I'm not trying to come on here and have a 45-minute slander fest on the people that run the OLA, because I'm already in enough trouble for that. Right. That's fine. Like, I don't want to do that to you guys, and I'll do that on my own podcast later tonight. That's like, if you want to hear some real, like, tune into that one. That's going to be a fun one, right? But for them to,
can I just cut in for a sec? I mean, I'm not Canadian, but I don't think the OLA can suspend this podcast. I just want to make that point. Hey, man.
I'm part of the OSL. They can get a hold of me really quickly.
Yeah, I'm out scats up here. So,
and I've like, again, I want to get this message out to as many eyes and ears as I possibly can. So obviously, we all know that all of the podcasts minus one are friends with Ryan, right? So I've reached out to every single one of them, and the one is the guy's like, well, they're gonna come at me because of what you're saying on mine, and I don't understand how. This isn't all Lacrosse all the time's opinion. This is Ryan McMichael's opinion. If anybody wants it, this is me, Ryan Andrew McMichael. I can give you we can put my email address on the screen. We can put my phone number on the screen. It doesn't, come after me. The amount of support I feel like we have within any sort of this lacrosse community right now is crazy. I have people texting me, and if you want to talk about coming after you, Mike, I had somebody last night text me from a random number that I don't have saved in my phone that tried to claim that they were a member of the Brooklyn Redmond alumni and a valued member of the lacrosse and legal community within my local area. And they strongly suggest that I stop this, or else they will pursue legal action.
Oh, goodness.
And I'm okay. Well, I appreciate your heads up. Thank you very much. If you could just tell me who you are, that would be great. No. I'm gonna stay anonymous. I know your dad. Well, you don't know my dad because my dad's been dead since 1997. You do not know my dad. Nobody right now knows you knew my dad. You don't know my dad. And if you did know my dad, and this is verbatim what I said to this anonymous number, you would understand that we have no respect for people who stay anonymous. You have an opinion and you have a voice, then say it. Come at me, use your name, and come at me. That's fine. So this morning I woke up in a little bit of a mood because this has been a very, very long 2 days for me. And I'm just going to call this number. So if you're a local law, whatever lawyer from our local Durham region area, you would think your number wouldn't come up London, Ontario, right? So if we want to talk about, coming at you, it's just, it's scare tactics. They'll probably send you an email telling you that, you're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. I'm allowed to do whatever I want. I'm a grown ass man. Sorry for swearing.
Yeah, I could pass. I could pass a number to you. Sure.
Of course. Yeah.
So I was going to say, I remember, a few years ago here, the IIJL had their World Juniors here in Saskatoon. I just remember the absolute circus that it was, just because, all the barriers that were put up, and, like you're mentioning, players getting threatened to be suspended if they took part in this unsanctioned event. And it just made you scratch your head on, I mean, regardless of what you think of that tournament, why are you just taking away these opportunities for these kids?
Well, and that's, sorry, I was just sharing the link here so we can get a couple more eyes and ears. Again, like if we're about our mandate in the OLA and in Canadian lacrosse, which is grow the game, Why are we hindering anybody's ability? Why does Mr. Henhock have to fight for his senior B guys to go to play in Prague? Why? Like, and since when? Because I remember playing senior B lacrosse in 2006, 2005, and we had players from the Ajax Pickering Rock going to Prague. Mm-hmm. Gavin Prout goes to Prague. Like, there's Jonas Dirks. Like so many of the game's greats go to these tournaments.
Jeff Shatler still goes there.
Jeff Shatler. Oh, yeah. Like, and then so what? Like,
I still go there.
What's next? Are we going to start to suspend people for going to the Dreamcatcher tournament? Because Austin Stotts was there this year. So let's, like, and now again, I know I get it. Tread lightly, Ryan. Tread lightly. But it's like we're one of the greatest goal scorers when he was playing lacrosse. We're gonna limit where you, like, we're growing the game, right? And I said this on a different episode, was if we are growing the game, why aren't we getting as many eyes and ears and everything out there as possible? Why are we not allowing somebody to walk down the streets of Prague? Go ahead.
That's the comment right there.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
especially with minor lacrosse, and I keep hearing stories where we're talking about not top level lacrosse. It's the ones lower, down towards house league, where you get most of the headaches, which is ridiculous. And if you want to turn a kid off of lacrosse, put him in the middle of this political melee when they don't know what's going on, when all they want to do is play.
Right? Like, we're walking, Colton and I are walking around the arena last night, and you see how I interact with everybody, and I try and bring as many eyes and ears to the Loose Mesh podcast as I can, and be the game that I love. I have lost so much money in this game being a volunteer that people would think I'm crazy, but I love this. Like, I love teaching a kid how to play lacrosse properly. I love going to a good lacrosse game. I love the social atmosphere of it. I love everything about it. But at one point, he looks at me because maybe 150 different people have asked him, well, where are you playing this year? Where are you playing? He looks at me and goes, I don't even want to talk about this anymore. And this is a kid who's adapted my love for the game. He's like, Frick, I don't even know what to say, man. Like, can you do this? Like, and this is a 14-year-old kid who is just trying to play the game that is in his family's lineage, that is in my family's lineage, that he's learned to pick up through the love of the game. And he truly loves it. And these other kids truly love the game of lacrosse. And all we're doing is hindering their ability to continue and play with their friends, which is what sports should be. And be at the highest level possible, which is what also sports should be. Like, it's bananas.
And this is what I've said forever. The lacrosse community, there's no community that's tighter. The problem is, like I said off the top, we can't get out of our own way to allow the game to grow like it should. It should easily be as big as hockey. Easily. We can't get out of our own way.
If not bigger, due to financial reasons. Right? Like hockey, again, like, and let's not make any bones about it here. I am blue collar Canadian, right? I did grow up with a father who was a wrist shot away from the NHL, a 5-year-old child who's talking to you right now away from the NHL. Right. My uncle played in the NHL for 20 something years, fought everybody who's ever been tough in the National Hockey League. I was a hockey kid through and through. Right, I get it, but this game is a million times better. It's a million times better. It's a million times more entertaining. It's a million times more physical. If some of these people get out of the way, it's a million times more entertaining. It's a million times more engaging. Our athletes are a million times more blue collar than anybody else. It's banana land the way that this clown circus is being run right now across all levels. And
to answer Doug's question, does Canada hockey run itself like this? Yes. We've had to replace everybody from the top on down before. So it's something about leadership in Canada sports that all of a sudden things go sideways and kind of lose what the message is and what the mission is. And that's to grow the game for everybody. I've always said the grassroots is where we need to spend our most money and most time, because even if they don't want to become professionals, that's your fan base. And they're going to have families, and they're going to bring their kids into it. And that's how the game grows. If we don't do that, we're dead in the water. Maybe not this year, maybe not in 10 years, but down the road, if we don't grow it that way, we're dead in the water.
And then the other thing is like look at the COVID effect, right? Like this is technically the last age group that was affected by the couple years of COVID, to where we had no sports. So why are you hindering the children or the young men who continue to go on when nobody else did? Like, these kids fought through it when very few centers did. There's very few numbers at this 2010, 2011 age group. Very few. So why are we hindering their abilities to go and play elsewhere? And again, whatever ruling you want to throw at us, that's fine. You want to have 2 to go to each center, that's fine. We'll all come back to Northumberland next year and be the dominant program that we were last year. All we're asking for is for the ability for these young men to continue playing the game that they love, and put the hypocrisy and the boardroom antics and leave them in the boardroom. Right? Like the leadership stuff, everything else, it's a conversation for another day. What we need to do is allow these young men to play the game that they love and at the highest level that their abilities allow them to do.
All right. Now, to get off a topic here, and while I want to pick Uncle Frick's brain here with NLL, we just had an ALL champion. Took everybody by storm with Six Nations coming out of nowhere. I believe somebody in Power Rankings had mentioned
I don't want to talk about that.
Together.
I don't want to talk about that. Man, Garrett, like, and you know what? Like, Andy and I would, like, that's why I was kind of a couple of minutes late getting on here. Is Andy, Glenn, and I were having a conversation, and yesterday I called him. I go, did you see these Arena Lacrosse League scores? And he goes, why? Yeah, no, I'm pissed off. I'm not looking at that. Why? I go, because Toronto just beat Brampton. He goes, we hammered them 2 weeks ago. I know. I go, and St. Cal or Six Nations is about to beat Whippy. He goes, no. He goes, we played them doing overtime. Listen, and he was just snapping, right? So when I called when I called him right now, and we call them meat, because if any of you guys ever get to meet the legend Andrew Glenn, just have a look at the size of his hands. They're meat paws, okay? So we call him meat. So I'm like, meat, did you check out the scores? I don't want to talk to you right now, he says. I go, what? He goes, we would have beat them. He goes, imagine like we had half of the lineup that we should have had for half of the season. He goes, we should be the champions of this league right now. Meat, I don't know about that one, but yeah, no, what and I heard it was just a dude. Were you there? I heard it was a hell of a game.
It was a heck of a game. It was Dusty Hill's best game I've ever seen him play. And I've seen him put together a few good ones, but I'm glad to see him on the upswing. But 14-4. And the fourth goal came with seconds left. So he held them to 3 goals for most of the game. He held them to no goals in the second half until the last one went in with about a minute left. That was it.
In all fairness to Toronto, though, like, I heard Buck wasn't playing. I heard Jesso's fighting something serious right now. I heard Ford's fighting something serious right now. And then what? Did Joe Coyle come back to play or no?
No. But they also lost Jordan Dance in that game too for a fight. And, you're losing all your offense, right? So
more of a beating than a fight. I see that one on the internet. And again, I might not be a big fan of whatever is Kevin Dance there, whatever his dad's name is, but I'm a big Jordan Dance fan, and for him to get beat like that, didn't see. Like, I seen it, and for like, I think Lax Kelly posted it or whatever. Right. Like, oh, this will be a good one. Like, Jordo can throw his hands, and hold on, sir, hold on, might be getting a little long in the tooth for this one. Trust me, I know. Greg Harnett, I know. Once you get old, it's tough to fight, bud.
Yeah. The other part of it was, if you take a look at the power rankings I put out the last couple of weeks, put Six Nations in there if they can put it all together. And,
I know. I like to grind your gears about that power rankings thing, but you're normally pretty pretty bang on, except for when you just don't give the Oshawa boys any love after.
No, I try and find
we take Brampton.
I tried to find the love this year.
Take Brampton to OT. We don't move up in any power ranking slots. We take the Nation to OT. Oh, no. We're just keeping fricking the boys down in the basement. We put a licking on Toronto 2 weeks ago, like an absolute. We call them a D punch, if you know what the word I'm trying to say here is. And
I know it is.
We put a licking on them, and do you know where we went up in the standings there, Mikey?
2 spots there.
Oh, come 2 spots. Put a licking on the third place team in the league, and we move up 2 spots. Come on.
I'm pretty sure that Toronto was sitting around 5th by the time the playoffs hit. 5th or 6th.
Yeah, well, it was that again, like, don't quote me here, because I have been punched in the face a lot, and I like that little pen that you guys see me puffing on, but I think that the finals was a 5-6 matchup, was it not?
It was.
Yeah, well, Dushwigan doesn't deserve any love, Connor. Come on. I'm joking. I love the Dushwigan boys. Yeah, 5-6 matchup. And again, I first of all, like, congrats, right? Congrats to Darcy and Vince and the boys, right? But I'm just really happy that they waited until playoffs to make their run, because that just helped our draft stock.
Yep.
Right. If they had have went on this run maybe 2 weeks ago in the season, that number 3 overall draft pick that we got from them isn't very well. Like, it's not as high as it is. Right. So, Vince, Darce, boys up in 6. Congratulations on the win. I'm not going to congratulate Keelan Pilon though. That's one person. I'm not congratulating him. He always chirps me when they give it to us, and I don't like it. So I'm not congratulating Keelan, but it's good. It's good for the league, right? Good parity in the league. It's a 5-6 matchup, but again, like, if you look at Whippy's roster on Saturday, like, Conley had to leave at halftime. Sturos had to. Gordo, you just geared down over there. Ask.
More questions for you.
Learn how to spell. You learn how to spell blend, and I'll answer your question. How about that? But it's good for the league, right? But like Sturos, no Sturos in Whitby on Saturday. No Curtis Conley, Trent Boyd, Tyler Goodchild, Philadelphia fella, left-hand shot. Centerfield. Landon Sinfield. He was obviously not there. So, like, that's, to me, that's the true mark of a champion in this league. Right? A team like Brampton, who has 4 guys to go to the NLL. A team like Whitby, who has 5 guys go to the NLL. A team like the Whitby Steelhawks from 2017 that had 9 guys go to the NLL. Yep. A team like the Oshawa Outlaws of 2019, I think it was, that had 6 guys go to the end. That's the true meaning of this league. It's not about
something like 40 guys into the NLL that have stayed, if not more now. And that's a testament to all of you guys in the coaching systems. And I've always said, and I love being part of the media for it, because to watch all this, but I've always said it teaches a guy to become a pro and stay a pro. From the beginning, from when he walks into the arena till he walks back out of the arena, and everything in between it is all about how to be in the upper echelon of lacrosse.
What about that playoff run do you think was your biggest surprise? I know mine. So what was yours?
I expected Six Nations to really put it on, because they've been turning it on for weeks. I was surprised that Toronto was able to put it over Brampton, even though they've been battling injuries. I just didn't think that they had enough to get over the Brampton machine. And when they did, it was wow. And Sam Haynes, who is one of the most underrated goalies, I think, around, who put it all together. He had a bit of a rough day today, but, he put it together for that team.
I don't disagree. I'm not as sold on Sam Haynes as you are, right? I think I'm going to give myself a little bit of a pat on the back here. But if you put a solid scout into Sam Haynes, he's very susceptible to a certain couple things.
Right.
Right. And again, like what happened 3.5 weeks ago at the track.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it's very, very, very susceptible to a couple different things. I feel like if you put your time in and scout him properly, and you have a couple offensive guys that can pull off what your scout is, I feel like you could be successful against him. Mine's Peterborough. How Peterborough went in to Oakville and didn't perform at all against that Toronto team. That was my biggest, because we stretched Peterborough right to the end there in the last game of the year to try and sneak into the playoffs. But that group that they can send over the boards offensively, that 5-man group, it's tough. Right. Yeah. And all the credit in the world to the back end coaching staff of Toronto, because obviously they did their scout and it was absolutely fantastic.
Right. But I think the up and comer, us weekend aside, I really like what Peterborough did this time around. I think Oshawa has got a big opportunity also in the draft, because what they got rid of, and they scooped up a ton of drafting. If they can draft correctly, they're right back up there in the conversation for a championship.
Hold on a second. What do you mean with this if BS?
Well, they should be. Anyway. They should.
Did you see the draft we pulled off this year after 2 weeks of preparation work?
Mm-hmm.
Man, if Adam Thistlewaite decides to come and play in the ALL instead of hanging out on the practice roster with the Rochester Nighthawks all year, we're phenomenal.
Absolutely.
If somebody doesn't hack the ALL website somehow and sign Max Taylor up with our 3rd round pick, and he's actually the Max Taylor that we think it is, and he's playing, we're outstanding.
Right.
Right? Like, and we didn't even have a 1st round pick this year.
Yep.
What do you think frickin' the boys are going to do with 3?
Yep.
Like, look out.
What I'm saying is, I'm trying to be, down the middle.
Yeah, none of the no. We're going full arrogance here, man.
You do your job. You guys are back in the conversation right away.
Don't worry, we won't suspend you.
Right?
Hey, Mikey, man, you gotta go back and look at the long lineages of McMichaels in this game. We are not afraid of a good old fashioned suspension.
The footage is amazing. It really is.
There's a video going around somewhere about the last year that I played in the Arena Lacrosse League, and it's a fight at the track. And I can say this now because we're about 10 years past. My brother and I are driving to this game together, and about halfway through my second pregame left-handed cigarette, I look at him and I say to him, I go, Mitchell, like, are you ready? And he looks at me and goes, what? I go, man, like I'm 29, 30 something years old. I go, this has been a long season. We're going into a long playoff run. Like, I'm going to have to do something to be able to take a couple weeks off here. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm going to go for about a 3-gamer, so I get about 3 games off. And
it's funny. He's taken the Johnny Shooter Davis idea to the next level. In fact, he's gone mega on us, because Shooter Davis used to take a penalty just so he could sit down for 2 minutes because they haven't played 58 minutes. But this is the same idea, only to the max. I need a couple days off.
So then my brother's like, are we really doing this? I go, you can do whatever you want. I go, I know what I'm doing. You can do whatever you want. So finally, the situation arose, and I tried to find I feel like the DJ at the track knew me because they started playing my song. And I was just looking for anybody to have a dance. That's all I wanted to do is just have a little bit of a dance, and nobody wanted to go. So on my way out, I was like, wow, that wasn't good enough. I don't think Mr. St. John's going to suspend me for that one. So pulled a couple more maneuvers, and I got my wish. It was fantastic. And again, like the long playoff run, and old, and I mean old, like Mike's had to pull a couple veteran. I gotta sit this one out here, boys. Like, if you need me for tomorrow, and you go back, look at the record book, see who scored the game-winning goal of that 2016 ALL championship, and it's handsome fellow on the bottom left hand of the screen, boys.
There you go. There you go. The inaugural cup went over to the McMichaels family. There it is.
Well, and let's call a spade here too. Like my brother had a terrible start to that game, and somewhere's around the second or the third quarter, he's about to go down to take a face off, and I yelled from the bench, like, "You want to figure this out here? Like, this is embarrassing." And I feel like the next 5 face off, because my brother was a very talented face-off guy, and he could play the game of lacrosse, and he had a lot more of my dad in me than I do, right? Like I play the role, but my brother was built like him and talks like him and walks like him. So he could play both ends of the floor extremely well, and I think the next 5 face-offs he might have won and either scored the goal himself or given it to Graham Bergsma, who had a phenomenal night, or a guy by the name of TJ Saunders, who had a phenomenal night, or we'd put the big Tree down on the crease and Mitchie would just win the draw and throw it to Tree, and Tree would just do a little dip and dunk, and that was a team, man. You want to talk about the old school Arena Lacrosse League days? That was a squad.
Absolutely. Ryan, I want to thank you, man. I also want to make sure that we get you back during the playoffs for NLL, because I want to get your insights on all this stuff too, because you have
anytime.
You have a certain take on it. I love it.
Anytime. I'm good for a bit more. You guys want to shoot some shots at the NLL too? I already paused dinner, so we're good. And if you guys want to keep going, we can keep going.
Let me bring in my Philly guy too. So
Philly. Philly.
Welcome to the show, buddy. That's gonna rub it into me. Philadelphia beat the Rock, who stood still.
What are you mucking over there right now, Pat? Like I'm starving over here. I put my dinner on pause, and you're just throwing muck and cheese and crackers in my face. What's happening?
They don't call Pat the Gobbler for nothing.
That's funny. Well, they call him the Gobbler, and that was his wrestling.
Oh yeah, we're on your clock here, Pat. Your clock, buddy.
Well, welcome to your show, Pat.
Yeah, what's going on, John? Oh man.
Celebrating because, Philadelphia won a game.
It feels like the Super Bowl.
It happens. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. The Wings won.
It feels like the Super Bowl.
My grandfather's always saying, even the sun shines on a dog's arse every once in a while.
Absolutely. But I do want to bring it into Ryan now, because we've been watching all kinds of crazy stuff, especially this weekend. We've watched the last few weeks things have been kind of topsy turvy. We've seen Saskatchewan fall, we've seen Vancouver rise, we've seen Oshawa kind of flail. God. They were like floating wood in the water last night in the third, fourth quarters. But give me your take. What are you seeing that we can look forward to as we enter the playoffs?
It's going to be a war of attrition, right? Like it's these matchups, the way that they're sorted out right now. Like I don't know if it's changed, but Saskatchewan and Vegas. Like that's going to be an absolute battle. I think at one point we had Buffalo going into Toronto. That's going to be a battle. Ottawa, Georgia, like it's just some of the best names in the game are going to be matched up against each other and going just head to head right away. And I don't think it could be any better the way that it's raking out. Like, do I like Saskatchewan playing Vegas? No, I'm a huge Vegas homer. I love Sean Williams. I love that Vegas team. Like, do I want to see them play Sask? No. I'm a huge Derek Keenan homer as well. Like, I'd like to see the matchups change a little bit, but I think it's going to be great.
Right. What do you think about Colorado? I can't put my finger on the team. As soon as I think they're great, they fall flat on their face and skin their chin. As soon as I think that they're done, they pick themselves back up and put a cape on. I can't pick them out. What's your thought on Colorado?
Colorado is, I think that's probably the scariest team entering the playoffs, right? Pat and Bish, they have a game plan for everybody. And until somebody proves that they're better than Dylan Ward in big games, then, like the only guy I'm putting ahead of Dylan Ward in a big game right now is Christian. And the way that it's matching up, it doesn't look like they're going to play each other until the finals right now, the way that the matchups are set, right? So for for Pat and Bish to have that much time and be able to prepare that well. And then that offense, you want to talk about 5 guys jumping over the boards. That offense is absolutely ludicrous. It's ludicrous.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Buffalo, they've been white hot lately, and they're pulling it out in the fourth again. They're doing the bandit kind of thing that's killing me. A little piece of me dies every time I see it. But talk to me. Are we watching something that can be a 4-peat, or in a one and done? Are they one and gone?
When does the season start again? April or October? I said you go back to the clock, November, December, whatever it is. Whenever this season started,
November,
and they got off slow. I said Buffalo is always going to be Buffalo until they're not Buffalo anymore. Well, what are they doing right now? They're being Buffalo. They're being Buffalo. And I hated doing it my whole life. I hated seeing them in every single playoff that I ever played in. You look down the other side of the net and you see Matt Vince, a little piece of your confidence is gone right away. Mm-hmm. He is the most intimidating goaltender of all time. He is the greatest goaltender of all time. There's no question about it. He is the absolute GOAT of his position. Dawson hit it nails on the head on last week's episode. Is Matt Vince doing Matt Vince type things whenever Matt Vince wants to do it, right? We just had a little bit of a joke, Mike and I, about me trying to take a little bit of a sussy so that I could rest up for playoffs. Well, Matt Vince can't take a sussy to rest up for playoffs. He just took the first 10 games off.
Right.
Made the saves that he needed to make. He kept his team in the fight when he needed to keep them in the fight. And now he's walking around with his shirt off going, I am so much better than everybody here, and you can't do a GD thing about it.
Yeah. And adding Joe Russaterets as well, that didn't hurt any at all. They kind of replaced what they lost with Kluche and Fraser with their little tinkering. Give Chugger full props for it. Is every time he needs to find something, he pulled it out of somewhere.
Yeah, but I think Mickey has a little bit more to do with it than bringing in the 2 guys at the deadline, right? Like Hendricks hasn't played the way that, again, like when we broke that trade on the Loose Mesh trade deadline podcast, we were astonished that that's as little as Chugger had to give up, and I was amazed that Shooter accepted as little as he did.
Yeah,
maybe Shooter kind of seen something that we all didn't see, right? Maybe it was he just isn't fitting into the system that everybody needs him to be in, right? He hasn't really fit in there yet, and if he gets going, then look out. But I think a lot of this, like, Josh can't do it by himself on the left-hand side, right? Like we seen that at the start of the year, and then Mick gets up there and he just gives them a little bit of calmness, and he gives them a little bit more of a presence. And now you can't automatically double Josh, and you have to respect Ian McKay, and you have to respect the other left-hand shots that are there. But until somebody proves to me that Buffalo isn't Buffalo, that's where I'm going.
Right. Now, the Russaterets trade brought Lucas Nielsen over into Philly. He's made an immediate impact. That's one of the better moves that I've seen Paul Day pull off, as well as get a buku of draft picks for a really great draft.
I see Pat shaking his head over there. Why are we saying it's immediate? Because it was just today. Right? He played good. And again, I don't know the kid. I like him, right? He good West Coast fellow, but he had a great day today. Friday kind of invisible.
Friday kind of invisible. He had a goal on Friday. But today he really bowled out, especially in that second half. He was getting loose balls, getting the rebounds. I don't know if that's because his family was in attendance today, because I saw him after the game with his family, his little ones and so forth. So I don't know, that brought more out of him today. But whatever had happened, whatever that second half adjustment was, he came to play. I saw him get, like I said, pick up the offensive rebounds. I saw him dig deep. I saw him doing plays that, again, this is today, not just him. Today was a overlook of what this Wings team was supposed to look like all year round. And today I finally got to see a dominant both sides of the ball from this Wings team. So this is the first time I saw Ian Rubel walk into a press room with a smile on his face from ear to ear. He looked like the Joker. So, it's good to see that. It's good to see him happy. Today was a good team win. The defense stepped up. They took advantage of Toronto just renting out the penalty box. So they looked good today, and a good game from Luke Nelson. So I asked Ian today. I said, Ian, if this is going to be part of the future, I know he even said himself, the playoffs are out of their hands, unfortunately. But if this is the glimpse of the future that they're going to get with this team, with this up and coming team, and not just him, Brandon O'Neill, Michael Sowers, you're putting things together here in Philly, and hopefully it's for big things to come here in the near future.
They better watch out, or they might win themselves out of Joey Spallina. There's a basement. Spallina comes to Toronto.
Do you think as Joey that's one? That's you're selling Joey at one, or are you a situational number one guy?
I'm a situational guy. I don't think Toronto needs Spallina, to tell you the truth. I think they need to transition. Is what they need. And maybe I would be going with a goalie, but I know they're not going to look for one.
Well, there isn't one. Not one that high. Not one that high.
Yeah.
Right.
No, but they have a second round pick too, and if they could find a decent one, I'd be willing. If I could find that diamond in the rough, I would give a second for it, because where we're going this way, how many series have been gone because it's not Matt Mintz, it's not Kristen Delbianco, it's not Dylan Ward, it's not, I can go on, it's not one of those. And Buffalo has made a career out of winning championships because they've taken it away from a team that was supposed to beat them because of.
Kind of staying on the goaltender thing here, Pat. Were you surprised to see Nikki start, or did you think maybe Deeks was going to come back at her?
I thought Deeks was going to eventually. I'm surprised. Damu's been your goaltender from start to finish. Like I definitely thought at some point Deke was going to get the nod this year, and it's not. This has been the Nick Demu issue. Now, I don't know if there's something going on in practice. I don't know if there's something that happened during the preseason. But whatever it is, Ian Rubel has going with Nick Demu. And Nick Demu played a decent game today. And again, a credit to the defense that was in front of today, taking everything that Toronto was throwing at you on offense and just reading their plays. And I saw where Toronto was trying to make a wraparound goal. And Nick Demu was like an octopus in there. I mean, he was extending his legs, his arms, where they couldn't, again, they only got 9 goals. It's very, very unlikely that an opponent comes into here and scoring under 10 points. Very unlikely. But, like I said, Philly did their job today.
Gary, I've been saying for a couple of weeks now that I didn't think that CJ and Owen Hiltz would be the same as they are if Mark Matthews wasn't being Mark Matthews.
I agree.
Mark Matthews looked like he was 30-something years old today.
Yeah, he looked asleep.
Mark looked. I don't want to say asleep because I love Mark to death. He's always been great to me. But my opinion is he looked like something was hampering him. Right, he's little bit slower than usual getting off the floor. Great game last weekend. So did the other two. But the other two? Like Hiltzy had the one or two
goals that I remember that were just
outside bombs, right? CJ had his typical kind of couple broken plays, scramble, get to the net, be that big American athletic physical body that he is, which I don't understand how he's so Canadian but American, like it's banana land. But do you think Toronto they're like the way that the offense kind of looked out of sync today was a little bit more to do with Mark not really being Mark as opposed to the way Mark's been playing all year, because he's at a comeback player of the year level right now.
He is. And, they've rested everything that he is their quarterback. And if their quarterback is off, take a look at any NFL team. If he's off, you're losing. And Matthews just wasn't. I don't like day games. It throws off the entire game day routine, and it looks like older players get affected more than younger players who can bounce with it, and Matthews got affected by it, I think. Now, next Saturday when he plays at night against San Diego, do I expect Matthews to bounce back? Yeah, I do. I expect him to be with a vigor in him. But this game, it just happened. But also, you take a look at the rest of it, and all of a sudden, all the outside shots. We're shooting from Allentown. We're shooting from so far out that they needed to actually get an OnStar system to find out if they're anywhere near the net at times. It's I don't know what it is about the Toronto Rock logo, but as soon as you do that, if you used to go inside, you don't do it anymore. So more times than not, it drives me up the wall, inside and out, because you got guys who can go inside. And it's funny because over the years, what was it, Lindner? The smallest guy on the floor. Hellier, smallest guys on the floor who are going inside and taking the beatings, while the big bodies are staying outside going, nope, I'm just going to shoot from here.
Yeah, Daniel used to be a minor lacrosse player of mine. And that was one thing that we literally had to beat into his head as a kid is you have to get through the middle. And the older that he got, the more he just took it to a whole different level, to the point to where he would be running through and around and over top of and underneath of every single person that he had to do to get into the middle of the floor. That's what that's one guy. What a name drop. That's one guy I really miss watching play in the game of lacrosse. That guy played with so much passion and so much intensity, and he would just, again, I know we don't like the swearing, so I'm not going to do it, but he would just mother F guys up and down the whole.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
I hope
we spent 18 weeks with the line one ringing.
Line one, Mr. Lindner. Line one. You're needed in this town. Line one, Mr. Lindner.
No kidding, right? But he could
be used on about 10 different teams right now.
He's gone on to be a dad and be a husband and good for him. But I feel like that retirement came a little bit too early, because he's the same age as Riley O'Connor and maybe a year older than Ryan Keenan and Chad Tutton and Johnny LaFontaine and all these guys that grew up in the big smoke of Whitby together. Like, it's Danny, come back to the game, brother. We need you. If nothing else, come play Senior B for Andy up in Collingwood.
That'd be cool. Well, I'm going to put you on the fire here. Who do you think takes the championship this year, then?
Who do I think, or who do I want? I'm gonna start with who I want, and I want Las Vegas to win. I think Willie deserves it. I think that he's been kind of raked over the coals the last couple of years to maybe a little bit fault of his own, but it is what it is. I feel like he's one of the good guys in the game that absolutely deserves a championship. I feel like the moves that they made kind of help him go towards a championship. And as for I'm gonna say we're probably looking at, I hate doing it. We're probably looking at a Buffalo Vancouver final. I know I don't like it either. Like I'm done with I love Buffalo. I love dynasties. I love it. But I'm over it. Right? Mm-hmm. Three's good. We're good here. Vancouver, I've got to work with Rob Williams. I've got to be in the phone while him and Kurt, in and around a phone vicinity while him and Kurt are talking strategy. I know how much both of those two men put into the game of lacrosse. I feel like this is the game to where passion and intensity overplays a lot of other attributes that you have in an athlete. I'm taking Vancouver to win this. Like I'm taking him to win it in a 2-1 series. I think Christian is Christian. I think that offense is as good as it can be. But like this is the National League, baby. And anything can happen on any single night. Like it's the reason why it's the greatest sport in the world. Anybody can beat anybody. But again, gun to my head, Frick's feet to the fire. It's a Vancouver Warriors 2026 NLL champion. I hope it's not Buffalo that they beat. But again, like, somebody tell me an idiot and tell me that I'm wrong. Like, they're the best team. Yeah. They're playing like the best team in the league right now.
They are, and they're pulling it out of everywhere and everyone. And of course, when you look at coaching and Tavares and Eric Vince and Chugger. You really can't. Is there a weak link anywhere in there? No, there's no.
Let's not forget the Big Red.
Yeah.
Anthony Cosmo.
Anthony Cosmo, yes.
Right? Like, you ever heard of him? You know what I mean?
Seen him once in a while, yeah.
I got one question here before I roll it. I'm going to the top right part of the screen, okay? Shawn.
Okay, yep.
What is your boy Jimmy Q doing at the end of that game? Calling an illegal stick on Paulie Dawson?
He's trying to do whatever he can to get that last goal to tie that game. That was just a Hail Mary to try to...
Why are you calling that in the regular season? Why don't you have that in your back pocket for playoffs? This win wasn't pushing them over it's not like they needed this to clinch. I don't understand the timing of it. I don't it's a little wishy-washy to me. I don't understand the timing though. That's if you're gonna do it, that's something that you put in your back pocket there, right?
Yeah,
and that's fair. Yeah,
I agree with that too. Yeah, it was a little puzzling, and then for a game that doesn't mean that much since you clinched. If you were on the border, maybe. But
you got any pull on those guys that work the TV cameras over there too, Shawnee? Because they're sitting there, they're talking about it. They're talking about Jimmy V and Jimmy Q and Jeremy Talevi just going up and down Paulie Dawson, and you see Paulie Dawson being held back, but nobody's seen what was going on. Like we need.
Yeah, I wish I had pull on that, but I wish I had pull on that unfortunately. But yeah,
I wish. I was yelling at my TV screen. Oh, they're having words. Show the goddamn thing.
I felt lucky as I made it home from Oshawa in time to catch the last 5 minutes of that game. So it was like, sitting in my couch with my cool one there, and it's like, yeah. And of course, they gave me all the entertainment I needed in those 5 minutes, right?
I really hope there's no Peterborough police officers watching this, but I was also watching that game, but I was kind of driving at the same time. So
I use it like a radio. It's like a radio.
Well, yeah.
It's on like a radio.
You know what I do is I have a nice, a nice little dashboard area of where like my speedometer and all that is, right? And it's all digitalized and whatever. So I just put it up there because you have to look at your speed anyways, right? Yep. So if it's just where my speed is, I'm not really doing anything different than what I would normally be doing. That's,
Let's just hope it's not an intense shot. We're not going to say anything like that. We're going to hold the fifth on that one.
Exactly, right? Exactly. So, okay, boys, Gary, again, I really want to express my thanks for allowing me to have this platform and bring a little bit more light and a little bit more clarity to this Ontario Lacrosse Association thing. I'm kind of losing faith that the right thing is going to happen, but if anybody that's listening, if you see a clip, if you agree with me or you agree with the fact that this is completely wrong to treat 14 and 15-year-old children that way, feel free to write in. They have all of their emails on the websites. It's an open policy. This is supposed to be an open door thing. Like we need to have a little bit more transparency on what's going on here. So from the bottom of my heart and to everybody else, thank you very much for allowing me the time to portray my displeasure with the way that this is going on. Pat, I know you're coming in late, but it was a big one, buddy. It was a big one.
Hey, listen, I'm enjoying it. I know I'm fresh to this, but listen, I'm just enjoying the ride right now. And my cinnamon donut here, but I'm just enjoying it.
Rubbed it in now, yeah.
But Prick's dinner's on the stove, so we're not going to keep him from it too much longer. As always, Ryan, I appreciate it, man. I'm proud to call you a friend of mine. So anytime you have an open invitation to come on back, and we'll chat some more.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys very much. Enjoy the last couple games of the season, and let's have a great playoff and a great run to the cup. It's gonna be fantastic, man. Again, greatest game in the world. Why not, right?
Absolutely. I'll see you in Oshawa in 2 weeks, yeah.
Oh, wrestling night, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Wrestling and ballheads.
I wonder if that El Captain guy wants to have a wrestling match.
You can watch your ex accounts to see how that's going to turn out, folks.
Trust me, I've already been talking to my buddy that owns Bond Street, and we're cooking up a little something.
You can put a nice ring right in the middle of there. Yeah,
they do. They will see. Here's the irony: is they do that, and they actually have one.
There it is. Perfect.
Maybe Fricky Baby's got a little something in the cooker here, Gare Bear.
There you go, baby. I love it.
That's ringing my ears.
Yeah, maybe Pat needs to take a trip north of the border.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I might get my tight
Yeah,
out.
the Diachenko promotion squad got to get back on this one because this is while the iron is still white hot.
Well, and I've already talked to him, and I tried to book it up for. Obviously, we all know my admiration for the Tucker Williams, the foundation, and all that. So I've already attempted to say, hey, Nikki, like, can we get this going on Tucker night? Because it'll be a big crowd, and there'll be a lot of Frick supporters in that building. So maybe we can just have a little bit of fun and have at her. But I haven't heard back yet. I don't think this captain fella has the stones anyways to step in the ring with old Frick.
Right.
So
I'll give you a little trivia there just before you go about Nick Diachenko. Was I think about 15 years ago when he was just coming up with the Toronto Rock. I interviewed him back then. So I've been interviewing these guys for a long time, guys.
We'll go a little bit farther. He's a long time family friend of the McMichaels, the Diachenko. So we're good there, baby. We're good.
I knew that one.
Exactly. So, all right, my guys, I appreciate you. Thank you very much, and keep doing the Lord's work here. You guys are doing a great job, and I appreciate everything that you guys do, man. You guys are some of the good guys in the game right now, and we got to band together and stick together and just keep on rocking in the free world.
Absolutely. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Adios, guys.
Okay. That was Ryan McMichael with his State of the Union of what was going on in Ontario, as well as National Lacrosse League, ALL. Be able to hit everything. Pat, while I still got you here, talk to me a little bit about today's game because, I'm still, if you look, I'm bleeding here still. I've got some gaping wounds here. There's not enough gauze in this place to, stop all the, death by 1,000 cuts. Whenever you take a bazillion penalties, especially you take it two at a time, a number of times in the game. Funny enough, the two-man advantages, Philadelphia didn't score on. The single ones they scored on every time. But the two-man advantages didn't do it.
Well, first of all, your man Freck here has me wanting to go get some of my old gold wrestling tights and make me want to go up north. Listen, they're around summer. I got my black leather boots. I could get these things rocking and rolling. But no,
I can't hate you that much, man. You're wearing a Penn State shirt, and Penn State's my team. So, I can't hate you that much today, though.
No. Listen, but today, it was, like I said earlier, this was actually the first time I've seen all season a complete game of what this team was supposed to look like from Jump Street. It took a lot of trouble and a lot of tribulations to get to this Wings team that we saw today. And I get it, they were averaging 6 goals a game. This is a team that was down and out. I don't know. Maybe Toronto looked at it as a scheduled win. Maybe they took this team easy. I don't know what it was, but I talked to Alex Pace in the press conference, and I asked him, I said, was this some of your preparation? Because I noticed Toronto likes to double team people, and maybe that's led to some of the advantages on the transition. Maybe in the all set, half court sets. Maybe that was getting other guys open, and I would figured, hey, listen, if you're going to try to put a 2-on-1 with me, someone's going to get open all the time. And I noticed too, Toronto's defense was trying to have Philly shoot from the outside, but unfortunately, the gamble was that it's going to lead Brandon O'Neill to shoot from the outside, and he was capitalizing today. And then, like I said, he was hot. 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points today. And then, like I said, Luke Nilsson, he cranked things up in that second half. He looked really, really good. And Nick Demuth and so forth. This was a lot, good win. And going back, though, that kid Hines, or am I saying this right? Owen Hines, he could shoot. Hills. Well, that kid Hills, he could shoot. He could shoot a little bit.
He's a star in PLL. He's a star in NLL. He was a star in junior. He was a star up in Peterborough. Great kid. I interviewed him.
He looks like he's surrounded with teammates or size of trees, but he looks like he's about a 5'10", but with a quick release. Yep. And whenever he was facing,
he's just scared of going through nothing.
No, and he was shooting missiles at Nick Damute. I mean, he made one play today. It got like came through a tight window around underneath his armpit. I had to roll my eyes twice. I had to look at the jumbotron to see what I just saw, and I'm like, man, this kid.
There's more than one goalie that has mentioned to me that when they stop his shots, they get welts. So
yeah,
Doug's got a good point here as well. The attitude that Kyle Jackson brought back to the team.
Yes. He did. He visited the sin bin a few times for Philly today, but he did it. He brought back that nasty. I'm going to thump you if you come into our zone, and it did get chippy down there today. It got the chip between Toronto and Philly as you expected, and that's what he did. He helped bring that attitude. Doug's absolutely right about that.
Funny thing is, whenever it got chippy, it's Toronto getting penalties.
And you're right. I mean, they did. Listen, I know they came down to visit, but they rented out that penalty box. I mean, there were 2 or 3 times. It looked like a gathering. It looked like they had 2 benches.
The impossible happened. CJ Kirst did the impossible. He found a open Bill Hostrauser in front of the net, and Bill scored. And for the first time in a number of years, that I see Bill Hostrauser score.
Yeah.
We have more of those goals, and we're going to have to put a stick in his hands in his bobblehead. Bubble fist we ever had. Yeah. Now, we're not getting the Elijah Gas bobble fist as well, but, for Hostrauser, he has a bobble fist. You're going to start scoring finesse goals. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, listen, it was
a crazy arena. You see him? He beelined it back to the first goal of the game. Beelined it back to the bench, jumping around. Man, don't tell me he doesn't want a goal.
You're right. I mean, listen, look, and that's the thing. Toronto, they set the tone of this game. I thought this was going to be another long day. Philly, I see what Philly wants to do. They want to get you in the all set. Instead, like their things should be just scoring transition. Just go. And they take their time getting these half court sets and they got a little too cute, a little too much pass. And then Toronto just picked up right up on it and it was called from the turnovers. And that's like, I know it was like the one garbage time turnover, but Toronto, sniffed it out and took the ball the opposite direction and got a goal for it.
It's funny, for as miserable a game as Toronto put together, they hung around. It only was in the 4th when it finally the bottom dropped out and they just couldn't do it anymore. And there were a number of times they were in one, and then get close and then away it goes. Get close and then away it goes. And then finally by the 4th they wasn't getting close anymore.
Well, yeah, that was the tough part because every time they got themselves in reaching distance, they got themselves in trouble. Then they got themselves in trouble, and then that's. And then you're giving Philly more of an advantage and more of an opportunity. And then you're wearing out your defense and you're wearing out your goalie because you're short somewhere because you're constantly in that penalty box. And, like you said, every time they look like they're going to make a game out of it, here we are. We're back in the penalty. So,
mind you, Troy Holichuk was Houdini on one play. There was one where it was an empty net. I think it was, I can't remember, it was Sowers or it was O'Neill. And he came across crossbody with his stick and caught that thing out of midair. He was heading for the empty net. And I was just like, oh, thank you very much. And off it went. That was my bright spot in the day. There wasn't much else to cheer about for Toronto.
No, nine trips to the penalty box today. 9 trips. That's you're making Philly look good. What's to say here? The offense, defense schemes, it has changed. Yeah, it's aggressive now. Pass right. We know the all 20.
That's the way you started the season.
Absolutely.
And then I got lost in the middle, and it's coming back at the end. But again, watch out. You were going to win yourself out of Joey Spallina.
Right, and you don't want to lose those sweepstakes.
Right.
You don't want to lose. You don't want to lose.
You're sitting in first place right now. You start winning while Calgary's not. And then,
and like you said, yeah, I mean, do you want a tank? Of course. But like Ian says, it's hard to tell these guys, all they want to do is play hard. And now it's like, I know Vegas is coming to town in 2 weeks. I know Mitch, it's going to be
Sorry, Doug.
I know it's going to be the Mitch Jones return tour. But I think this team's going to go at them. I think this team is going to go and show what they could do again. Again, they're playing for roster spots for next year.
Exactly. That's exactly what they said in Oshawa. That's what Clarkey said in Oshawa. Is now, since mathematically they're out, they're playing for next year's positions and guys who belong in the league and don't belong in the league. And now is when the telltale happens. Anybody can do it when they're winning.
Yeah, and let's not forget that complicating that whole who's going to get the number one pick is that Calgary and Oshawa over the next 2 weeks play each other twice.
Yeah.
So you got two of the bottom playing each
too.
other twice over the next 2 weeks. Phillies obviously they're off next week.
If I've ever been a Firewolves fan.
But Philly finishes up, home against Vegas and then at Vancouver. So,
right.
And the crazy part is, I can see them getting 2 dubs. With a win like this, and it's crazy. Like, and someone asked, and Ian Rule
last week of the season, Vancouver is going to be playing their practice squad.
B team, yeah.
And that's what we're trying to figure this out. Right. And we're trying to figure out why can Philly only take care of teams that are like all the way up here and can't handle anything else. I mean, they really show up. So listen, first home win of 2026, today I'll take it. Like I said, I'm glad to see Ian Rubel walk in with like I said, he looked like the Joker. I mean, smile ear to ear, satisfied with the win. This is the result he's been wanting to see all season long.
Sure.
Unfortunately, it came up today. And now he just wants to see if he can run it back and see who, like you said, who's going to be here in Philly next year and who's not.
Absolutely. Matt, as always, man, I want to thank you for hanging out with us. And I know it's a little late, a little past your bedtime here.
It's all right. I got my bedtime snack to put me down. Cinnamon bun.
Just rub it in.
It's a victory one. I don't have too many of these.
I think if you take a look, there's a big bag that's been waiting for him to dig into tonight.
There it is. I'm not even going to go to the fruit part today. I'm not even going to go to the banana. This victory is too good. And I'm going to name this cinnamon bun Gary.
Don't worry, I still got the captain's hat over there.
So
I mean, what my gift is this year. I know what it is. It's maybe they'll give me the steering wheel.
The steering wheel.
It's funny. I was about to joke with him. I said, with the win, like, because today was superhero day. Today's thing, and I said, you guys might want to just keep this on. The way you guys look like superheroes today, with the big plan I got today. So it was not something nice to see today. And how about Dalton Young? I mean, it's a shame he's really cooking at the wrong time.
No, because he's going to be what they're building a team around him, and O'Neill are what they're going to build a team around, and he will be there for years to come. Now, if you can get Dominic to be healthy and a few other players in there, as well as what the nucleus is there is, if they keep Kyle Jackson around, if he wants to stick around for another year of box, then you're talking about something. And again, Paul Day was smart. He got rid of assets that were going to go anyways on him, and he's got first-round picks and a couple of second-round picks in there. So with the draft that is as deep as this one and the next one are going to be, it's very easy to rebuild a team when you already have component spots. The one place you don't have to worry about, which most teams do, is goaltending. With Damoud and Deacon Knott, you have 2 solid goaltenders can be starters anywhere in the league. You have solid defense if you can get away from the injury bug. Same thing with transition. You need a couple of pieces in both, but there's a nucleus there. Offensively, we've been talking about how there's been no scoring. Well, you guys shut me up on that one today. And if O'Neill is doing his thing, Dalton Young is doing his thing, it opens up a couple of other players, Sinfield and a few other guys, to do some things as well. And they're just getting their feet wet. So as they get more used to what's going on and get accustomed to TK's offense, then you're in for a pretty good ride, I think.
So that's the point, though. Like, I'm all excited again, big win, all that. But if Brandon O'Neill is going to be only trying to shoot from the outside, like, you're just going to be a streaky shooter, and today you just happen to get lucky and make your hits. I mean,
but it's never been his game to be an inside shooter. Even in the PLL, he's an outside shooter.
Right, but
He's an outside shooter. He's just a very accurate shooter, and when it's falling for him, and when he's able to pick those, remember he can pick the diamond in the mesh.
Yeah,
and there's games where it doesn't work. There's games where it does, but that's where the team thing, right? If he's not there, there's got to be other people to pick him up. Too much has been relied on him, and if it doesn't go there, if he's having 17 shots on a night, and some other guys are having 2 and 3, I think the offensive scheme is wrong.
True, but I mean, I like to see him do a couple more. Like when his first rookie year last year, when he came into the team, he was hitting spin moves. He was doing all. Now it's just like he gets into them, get to it. He plants his feet. He gets into a position.
But there's film on him now.
And now
everybody knows how to defend those spin moves and everything else. So he's having a harder time doing that. So it becomes down to using your defensive screens and hitting bounce shots. Always bounce shots, because bounce shots go in.
Go.
You're right. And like I said, today was a good win. You got everyone else clicking on the team, Dalton Young, all those guys. So look, I'll take the W. This heads into another break. Come back in 2 weeks and just finish it out and see what you got.
Absolutely. All righty, Pat. Thank you very much as always.
All right, gents.
I'll catch you soon.
Yes, sir. I'll catch you guys in the morning. See you.
Take care, Pat.
Bye.
That was Pat Bernard with the Wings Corner. Happened to be at my expense today, but that's okay. Let's get back to Friday, and we had Halifax going on there. And, that was a hell of a game.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Philly's offense couldn't get going after the first half in that game. They did lead 5-4 at the half, but they get outscored 4-1 in the second half.
Answer in this thing here is just goaltending. Like anybody worries about Deke and not. You give up 8 goals, you win 90% of your games.
It is. Certainly one thing that didn't help Philly was going 1 for 6 on the power play in that game. The discrepancy in face-off losses was to be expected, with Bo Columbus going up against Jake Withers. Withers wins that battle 12-5. But yeah, Warren Hill, 43 saves on the night. If there was one positive, Halifax did not get a power play in that game.
Right.
So
Philly's been pretty disciplined. This game and that game, both have been taken next to nothing, while they're reaping the benefits of other teams being undisciplined. So, I think Rubel has found something there. If we don't go to the box, we could score.
Absolutely, and we're talking about this young core on defense, and I mean, they had 2 games in 3 days it's a good chance for them to gel together. Having Lucas Nielsen and Dalton Young working with Sam LeClaire, on the right side, and Landon Sinfield, getting some reps with Brendan O'Neill,
right,
on the lefties. So.
Absolutely. I want to jump, because we've spent a lot of time with Ryan and talking about different things, but I want to jump quickly into some of these games and get into the rest of them, because we got a couple other things I want to hit on before we close out today. We're going to go into Rochester hits in Oshawa, and last week Rochester started off very, very slow, and down 8-1, and it took a character comeback that actually had him up 13-12 before they ran out of steam, which shows me that the Merns changeover is slowly starting to work. Well, in this game against Rochester, the first, I would say, half plus half a quarter was a back and forth affair of two teams that looked really hungry. In fact, with a minute left in the second quarter, Oshawa had tied up the game to make it 5-5, and Rochester battling and Thomas McConvey scoring with 4.6 seconds left, and it was 5-4 at the half. Very entertaining first half, going back and forth. Interesting things in there, though. There were two reverse transition goals that Rochester scored, which were brain cramps on Oshawa's part. And Clarkey talked about them in the press conference, and they are all on the article as well as on our YouTube page if you want to see it in its entirety. And one of them was it went off the post and went the other way. Now, they had Zed Williams coming out the back door in this game. He was able to pick it up and score all alone in close and took advantage of just a freak thing. But they weren't aware of things to not allow things like this to happen. Twice in the first half did that happen of reverse transition. Coming into the second half, Oshawa looked like they were onto something. They scored two quick goals inside a couple of minutes. Dyson Williams and Jackson Fridge with his first NLL goal. And it was 7-6 for Oshawa, and things looked pretty rosy. And, the superheroes were all in there, flying around the arena and everything else. Well, it took all of 30 seconds, and Ryan Smith scores. Tied. Taggart Clark and Ethan Walker score, and they're up by 2 again. We're about halfway through the third quarter, and it's like somebody just shut the door. The next 9 of 10 goals were scored by Rochester. 9 of 10. And I asked Clarkey what changed so much that shut down the offense. And he's like, if you have that answer, you let me know. Things weren't dropping. They were getting opportunities, and the Lacrosse gods weren't on Oshawa's side, and things were dropping for Rochester. Thomas McGonvey, in the middle of that, had a natural hat trick, scoring 3 in the span of about a minute 10 or 20. Ridiculous. Bang, bang, bang. Ryan Smith, rolling. Ryan Lansbury, he had 2 goal and 10 assists. Connor Fields had 2 goals, 9 assists. Just incredible numbers. Ryan Smith had 4 or 5 goals on the night. Thomas McConvey, 6 goals on the night. Just had an absolutely fantastic game, including one with a minute 48 left that went under review. And obviously there are a number of Rochester fans who came up because some socks came floating onto the field. Kind of odd when Oshawa was the home team. But anyways, they finally replaced Doug Jameson midway through the fourth. He was gassed. He was facing a lot of rubber. And they brought Andrew Kidd in to mop up the end of that game. More just to give Doug some rest. Because the defense stopped. It just stopped. And so did the offense. It just, all of a sudden, they took off. It was like half a game. See you next week. Good game, everybody. And Rochester turned it up a notch. And again, the Randy Mearns way of things. I'm starting to see that take effect. And different ideas on things. Again, Zed Williams coming out the back door, which was an interesting thing. But again, you look at the offensive. Kyle Waters is part of the offense. I haven't heard his name in a while. Blaze Reardon was doing things that we'd seen him do in Philadelphia when he had a role. So things are starting to come full circle. It's going to be a little bit of a build, but definitely on the right track. Riley Hutchcraft started this game, had a really good game in net, making 40 saves. Jameson made 40 saves on the day, too, just to show you how much rubber he was facing. Zed Williams on D, 2 turnovers caused. Not bad. Loose balls. Dan Coates, leading by example with 10. Rochester was playing. This is the best game I've seen them put together in weeks and weeks. And when you look at the front office staff, and I had a chance to chat with them on their way out, was one of the things, just happy, being in. Nice ride back. Because a little monkey off the bat that he can do it. Now, again, Ryan Benesh being part of the Oshawa thing, leading by example. He had a couple of goals, just leading by example. And if you think he's washed up at 41 or 42, he's not. He's got a lot more to give this game. Hopefully he, wants to do it some more, because I think he can be a real asset to helping things out in there. Rubish had a pretty good night on defense. Again, everything went south from about middle of the third quarter onward. It was just kind of forgettable at that point. Ty Kurtz had 10 shots on net. Early in the game, things dropped. Later in the game, if you would have had a cannon, it wouldn't have dropped for some reason. It just went south. One of those games. But as Clarkey also mentioned in his press conference, that this is now the time where guys are playing for their jobs. The mental mistakes have to stop. They haven't been that great this year. And mental mistakes is just the death of it. And, it's going to be interesting to see who's going in the lineup, because I'm sure you're going to start seeing some practice squad guys get opportunities, because they got to see what their assets are before starting to reassess where they want to fix and what they have already in store or in storage. So it's a young man's game, is right. But it's funny because I really like the makeup of this team, and I scratch my head all the time when thinking, why are they having such a hard time? And, it's one or the other. Either the offense works or but in this one, it all shut down together. They were playing a good game for 37 minutes, 38 minutes, and then it just shut down for 23 minutes, and 23 minutes felt like 23 days in there. It just was painful. So hopefully, they've looked at something or are looking at something in film and go, whoa, we got to fix this, got to change that. I think you can get a good first round pick for him. He's a solid player, solid transition guy, good defenseman. But I also think he's part of the plan for the future in Oshawa. I don't think you're going to get rid of him. I think you're crazy.
Yeah.
They fought through 3 expansion drafts to protect him. So
I don't think they're ready to give up.
He's
one of the breaks. Well, he had 10 loose balls in the game in this one on a forgettable night. So, and I don't think. But like I say, Rochester looked like they did of old prior to those Vancouver games. And you're right, Doug. You're right, but I think we're going on the wrong guy for value. I think value stays for value in this case. Oshawa, just a forgettable night from the third quarter onward, especially the fourth quarter was just absolutely deplorable. So luckily that was only 15 minutes and it was done. But we'll see, because in a couple of weeks' time, Oshawa got Calgary this week. And home, isn't it? Home and home.
Yeah, it's
Calgary next 2 weeks. So, they can very well right the ship, but Calgary is just like Oshawa. They can put it together strong for one night and look like they never played the game before in another week. So I'm not sure. Again, that's going to be a dart to the wall or a coin for if you look at our pick'ems. Let's not look at our pick'ems. Anyway, let's just keep going. I want to go to the Buffalo game before I hit the other one. Brain's going sideways here. The Georgia game. Let's go to the Buffalo game. Let's talk to me, Shawn. For the better part of 3.5 quarters, Saskatchewan really had it in tow. And then all of a sudden, the Bandit machine woke up. And it's a very hard thing to stop. It's like they're trying to stop a snowball when it's rolling downhill.
Yeah, and you know what? Saskatchewan's almost starting to look like they did, early in the season, where they have a hard time playing with the lead, where they kind of get that lead and take their foot off the gas, and then they're not playing a full 60. When I talked to both Derek and Jimmy after the game, they both said they played a good 55 minutes of that game, and that was it. And it was really just a really good play by Joe Reseteris with 45.3 seconds left in the game that won it.
Yeah, everybody there, I think we're holding their breath that he was in the crease, and nope, no such luck.
No. Yeah, no. And like we brought it up, there's some bizarre happenings this game. Like we mentioned the illegal stick with Paul Dawson being called out on that, which I mean could go one way or the other. Like I get holding it for the playoffs as well, but you're also in a battle for first place, and you want that home forward advantage. And a fifth loss really does now kind of put you in the back seat a little bit. The thing I maybe just found more funny than anything else was near the end of the second quarter, it looked like the ball got lost in Frank Chiliano's equipment. And so he had to literally strip down completely, take his pads off and anything, and then the ball was actually somehow, and we don't know, maybe it's a ball from warm-up, it was up in the netting above the net, and no one could see it. So, go figure. I've never seen that before. But yeah, I mean, I think that's just...
Well, Dallas Elliott would say that's because the equipment is too damn big.
Yeah.
The smaller equipment, you'd know if you had it or not.
Yeah. But I guess, the other concern for me for Saskatchewan, too, is, this is now the past two games where they've had under 10 goals for this, fairly potent offense. And you kind of wonder what's going on there. I know, again, I asked Jimmy about that, and he had one word answer: shooting. He just doesn't like how you're not getting quality chances. And I think, especially in that fourth quarter, I'm not a coach, but it looked like, too, like guys were just kind of afraid to set picks on offense, and some of those like small off ball stuff that wasn't really allowing their shooters to get space. I think that's really more of a concern, is that this offense that we know can score in bunches isn't scoring in bunches right now.
Right. Well, I say, just like the Oshawa game against Ottawa, he can't give up 4 goals with 8 minutes to go, just like they couldn't give up 4 goals with 4 minutes to go. And it's, I'm seeing a lot of that this year, that it comes in bunches, but at the end of the game. And it's, that's the first thing they taught us when we were young, is you cannot take your foot off the gas at the end. End of quarters, end of game. It just can't happen. So, right down to the thing of the beginning of the year, playing 50, 55 minutes, and this time it cost them. And again, has 2 losses to Buffalo. So if by some strange reason it comes down to, I can't see it happen, but stranger things have happened. Buffalo firmly owns that tiebreak.
Yeah. Yeah, no, always
1 goal games, 1 overtime. Strange.
Yeah. I forget the stats, but I mean, every time Saskatchewan and Buffalo play, it always seems like it's a 1 or 2 goal game, one way or the other. Like they always. This is becoming a good rivalry. Actually, this Buffalo Saskatchewan.
Yeah, because there's a number of those ones, Doug. You're right.
Yeah.
We're just talking about that. There's just a number of those ones that have come to mind, especially in the last couple of weeks, and very, very strange. Anyway, so that puts actually Vancouver by percentage points ahead of Saskatchewan in the standings, just because of the losses. Yeah, but that'll all even itself out by the end of it, I'm sure. Mike, let's head on over to Ottawa and Georgia. They put together another offensive showing, whilst they kept their number in defense, like it's been most of the year.
Yeah, they sure did. Holding Ottawa to just a handful of goals in the second half. They win 12-7. You had the usual suspects showing up for Georgia. Lyle Thompson, 2 goals, 4 assists. You had 2 goals and 2 assists from Brian Cole. 2 goals and an assist from Shane Jackson, and Nolan Byrne as well, 2 goals and an assist. Caleb Benedict had a goal and 3 assists. Several transition goals. Jacob Hickey, Seth Van Scheppen, Jeff Henrik, all finding the net in transition, which is something we seem to be seeing more of lately from this Georgia Swarm team. They went 3 for 5 on the power play. That was a big help. And like I said, they held Ottawa to just 2 goals in the second half and none in the third quarter. So shutting them out 5-0 to break that. I'm sorry, they had a 6-5 lead at the half and made it 11-5 after 3. So, let's talk about Ottawa and how good they are in the fourth quarter. But like Shawn said before, that's not really a sustainable model, and they need to be able to put up goals in the first 3 quarters to stay competitive. So, Brett Dobson had 42 saves in the win. For Ottawa, the Georgia defense did a good job bottling up most of the offense. Rob Hellier had a hat trick and 3 assists, but they held Jeff Teat to a goal and 2 assists. Phil Caputo and Larson Sundown each had a goal and an assist. Sam Firth had a goal. No points from Riley O'Connor or Connor Kiernan. So that's a little concerning. That offense isn't clicking on all the cylinders it needs to. Zach Higgins made 43 saves, and they went 18 of 23 on faceoffs, but 2 of 6 on the power play. So I get the impression that problems seem to be compounding a bit for Ottawa at,
right.
Not a good time. They've lost 2 straight after that 4-game win streak, and now they're sitting at 8-8, and they don't believe they have a very easy last 2 games. Home against Toronto, and then they finish at Halifax. So, and they've already lost to Halifax once this year, and they've already lost to Toronto once this year. So, pair of revenge games, and Toronto's in front of them in the standings. So there is some incentive for them to try to right the ship, and allow them to move up. That's also something I wanted to note, not to hop all the way back to Rochester, but, that win is big because they have a bit of an uphill climb. All the teams in front of them, immediately in front of them, Las Vegas, Ottawa, Toronto, they all have, Rochester has losing records against them. They lost, they got swept in 2 games against Las Vegas. They lost their only game against Ottawa. They lost their only game against Toronto. They have a win against Buffalo, but they have to play Buffalo in Buffalo in a couple of weeks. So, Rochester has a lot going against them, with regards to tiebreakers in trying to make a playoff push.
Right. It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that. If anybody thinks the last few weeks are going to be dull, there's so many moving pieces now. It's nuts. Now it brings me to the last game here, and Mike, big one for Vegas. The Calgary not as much. Well, Calgary, if they're trying to tank, they're doing a good job, but I don't think they are. And they were with an eyelash of pulling off a really, really interesting finish to this thing.
Yeah, well, we were just talking about all these
Collapses?
late,
Yeah.
all these late collapses, and
This is in 2.5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
yeah, they were up 7-2 late in the third quarter, and Braden Maye, scores power play goal at the end of the third quarter to make it 7-3. Comes back, scores again to start the fourth to make it 7-4. Tanner Cook scores his second in the fourth quarter to make it 7-5. And interestingly enough, Sean Williams decides to replace Alex Bouquet in net with Landon Kells. And things look better when Las Vegas gets 2 goals back and goes back up 4. But then Calgary scores 4 goals in the span of less than a minute and a half almost, with about 2.5 minutes remaining in the game. And Alex Bouquet actually comes back in net after the third goal in that run. And a minute later, gives up the game-tying goal to force overtime.
Right.
And the overtime went pretty lengthy, over 8 minutes in. And Jonathan Donville gets the game winner for Vegas. They win 10-9. But it's a skin of the teeth win, but it is a big win for Vegas. It keeps them a game ahead of Rochester, who they have a tiebreaker on, and San Diego, who they have yet to play and have to play 2 games against on the last weekend of the season. So, but they are currently sitting in that final playoff spot.
Right. Interesting. Again, though, Vegas to fall apart like this scares me, because what happens when it's against Buffalo? What happens when it's against Vancouver? Does it get to this point? This is 2 weeks in a row. Remember Vegas last week, 8-1 lead in the first, and they're coming from behind to win 17-13. Here we have it that they're up 9-5 with 2 minutes and 24 seconds to go. You can say character because they, after a hard fought 8 minutes in overtime, they win. But I also look at it in the half empty zone as it should never have gotten there.
Yeah.
And defensive lapse, but where did the offense go either? There's no way you're sitting on a lead like that. And you're not facing Matt Vince or Kristen Del Bianco or Dylan Ward or Brett Dobson.
Yeah, and I guess you could argue that it's a little maybe uncharacteristic to see that happen when when we've been praising
2 weeks in a row.
when we've been praising the importance of the veteran leadership that was brought into the team this year.
Right. Right. But now what's concerning to me is the last 2 weeks, it's the same pattern. Is up and then lose concentration, I guess, lose focus. And here we go. This one almost cost them, the other one they had enough time to try and do it. This one was getting scary.
Yeah, I mean, and credit to Calgary too. I mean,
You never quit is right.
Yeah, they don't quit. Yeah,
they don't. And that's that's part of the reason I put up the caption I had. I mean, yeah, they're 4-11, but half of their losses are by 2 goals or less. So this isn't an issue where they're just not gelling or anything like that. But one thing that does make it harder to kind of pinpoint where things are going wrong is you get production out of a good chunk of your offense in this game, but then you don't get anything out of your defense and transition guys. I mean, you know, when you look at the box score and you look at the scoring for Calgary, you had Tanner Cook with 3 goals, 3 assists, Braden Maillet 2 and 4, Hayden Dixon 2 and 2, Tyler Pace had a goal and 6 assists, Jacob Dunbar had a goal, and that's it.
Yeah.
You got no points out of Riley Lowen or Noah Manning, and you got no points at all out of any of your defensive transition guys. Not even an assist.
You know, I want to go back to your thing there, Mike. You know, you flip those 5 losses. Now suddenly you're talking a playoff spot, right? Like, and you know, this Calgary team really reminds me of the Saskatchewan team. Probably, I think about 3 or 4 years ago. Missed the playoffs, and they had a whole bunch of, you know, really close games too. And that next year, they brought in Austin Shanks, and look where they were. I think, like, again, you know, in terms you talk about transition, I feel like this Calgary team is just maybe 1 or 2 pieces away. Like, if they can maybe find, you know, that extra transition piece to add to that roster somewhere, or, you know, maybe another, just 1 more piece on the defensive end, or, you know, the offensive end. Like, they're that close, right? Like,
right.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Strange week, eh? Strange week. And, you know, when we bring up the standings of it now, after everything is said and done, we said Vancouver is sitting in first by mere percentage points at 11 and 4. Saskatchewan 11 and 5. Georgia 10 and 5. Colorado at 10 and 5. Buffalo over Toronto because they have the tie break, 9 and 6. 9 and 6. Ottawa 8 and 8. Vegas 7 and 7. And that is your top 8. And if we started right now, Vegas would be facing Vancouver. Ottawa would be facing Saskatchewan. Toronto would be facing Georgia. Colorado faces Buffalo. Interesting one and done playoff.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
On the outside looking in, that still have a hope. San Diego and Rochester sitting 1 game behind for a playoff spot. Halifax also. And then on the bottom, you have Calgary, Oshawa, and Philadelphia with 4 wins apiece. And ironically, Georgia hasn't clinched, even though they have the same record as Colorado, because Rochester can still catch them, and they play them twice. Interesting.
Yep.
It's going to be a strange yet exciting ending to a season. I want to jump on a couple of things. Again, as we're jumbling around tonight because of you know, having Ryan on. There's been a few things going on in summer ball. One of which is Coburg announced today their new affiliation with the Toronto Beaches, which is fairly big. There were a few trades, and Hamilton was in the midst of all of it. The first trade that they had was with Brooklyn. Eddie Renault is now part of the Hamilton Bengals. Shane Halliwell is now off to the Brooklyn Merchants. Hamilton wasn't finished yet. Jackson Hayner, Steve Bertelli, and Chris Atwood's rights go to Hamilton, to Collingwood, Cole Hanrahan, Brendan Hushman, and some future considerations. It's a big trade. Collingwood got much, much stronger there. Now, the third trade, Jackson Hayner again moves to Belleville with Cam Milligan for cash considerations and future considerations to Hamilton. Now, coming down the pipe, I'm seeing another one, but I'm just verifying if it's finished yet and up with the league, that deals with Belleville and Ennismore. So lots of movement going on. There's still 5 weeks before the season opens. May 2nd is the opening thing. Now, the other thing that happened was the logo has now been updated, and we had the reveal midweek. And just to leave you a little show of this one. And that is the new Ontario Series Lacrosse logo. Fresh look for a fresh league. And away we go. But lots of things going on. Doug, thank you as always for being with us. We appreciate all your input as well. And glad you learned a bunch with us too. But yeah, so that's where we're going to leave it for this week. I think that brings us over to reminding everybody that we are on Facebook, we are on X, we are on Instagram, we're on Thread, we are on YouTube, as well as at www.streampunkentertainment.com. Please check us 3, 4, 5 times a day, as the news is always changing in all aspects. We are your Costco lacrosse. If it is lacrosse, we've got it on there, whether it be NCAA, whether it be KUFLA, whether it be PLL, NLL, Summer Ball, ALL. We are your hookup for everything accurate and on time. So it is our privilege as well as our pleasure to get you all the information as quickly and as accurately as we can. That brings us over to last words. Mike, let's start with you this week. Last words on over to you.
I'll bite the bullet on this one. A quick pick'ems. Shawn, Caden, and Pat all went 4-2 on the week. Gary went 3-3, and I begin my march to the basement. Not to May, by going 1-5.
Way to go.
So through week 18, Shawn leads with a record of 68-37.
Show off.
Yeah.
I'm the one who had the 0-5 week, guys. Just remember that.
Remember the place.
Yeah.
Second place, Pat, 63-42. He's 5 games behind Shawn. 2 games behind Pat is Caden at 44. And I have rejoined Gary in my basement at 58-47.
I swept it out for you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's clean. It's clean. We'll have beers. There's lots of room down here. Any of you guys want to join? You can't. It's an elite club now. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. There's still a couple of weeks left for me to, kick Mike back upstairs. I'm working on it. Looks so good for a while. God, like I say, I feel like the yodeler in there, the old Price is Right. Right off the Anyways, I'm really enthused about this year's summer ball as well. Lots of things happening, lots of things in the works, and it's going to be an exciting time. If you can get to an arena, get to it, because it is going to be a lot of fun, a lot of great play, and really, really top-notch performing there for not a lot of money. That's the key. You're going to see NLL players and not NLL prices. Summer ball. I also find it to be a much more grinding sport. So if you're into that kind of hardcore, old school kind of, roughhouse kind of play, lower scoring, this is your foray that you're going to want to check out, both in Senior B and MSL for Senior A, as well as Junior A. That's going to be a big thing too. Lots of great things going to be happening there as well. So only a couple of weeks away before all of that starts going. We're only a couple of weeks away from the Rebeski tournament as well. It is 3 weeks before I'm on a plane. And next week is Easter. Gentlemen, are we doing an 11 o'clock show? Or are we doing a regular time?
Good question. I guess we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Stay tuned during the week as we give you the timing of it. Because Easter Sunday, we don't want to take you away from Easter dinner. And we don't want to take ourselves away from it either. So most likely we'll be doing an 11 a.m. show, keeping everybody breakfast with the boys. Best show in town, bar none. Want to thank Ryan McMichael for being with us. and bringing a lot of clarity to a lot of the issues going on there. Stuff that we weren't quite clear on, and some other stuff. He was succinct to the point on a lot of these issues, and appreciate him taking the time and talking to us about ALL as well as NLL as well. And look forward to seeing him real soon. But for Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw, for Muffler Mike over in Connecticut, I'm Gary Groob in Toronto, wishing you the best of weeks. Remember, keep your sticks high, keep your spirits higher. Have a great week, be safe, and we'll see you next week at 11 a.m. for our Easter show. Till then, take care.